Moving to California, gonna eat a lot. Wait a minute, I did this already. Welcome back to Los Angeles, and welcome back to New Job. Who dis? Oh, second verse, same as the first. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, lover cheeses and lover squeezes. I am your gorgeous and amazing host, Halston Body, at your service, your prism of excellence, here to talk to you today on another glorious episode of New Job. Who dis? To my 10 faithful listeners, welcome back. Love you very much. Thank you for joining me here, either on podcast form in the ways of Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean Network, or if you are watching me right here, hello, darlings, on YouTube on my channel, Halston Body, HALSTON BODDY, and we are back, episode 23, 24, 25. I don't know. I'm kidding. We're on 23. I'm keeping track. Are you? I know my 10 listeners are. Here's where we left off. I'll give you the short 2-minute update. We are living in Dayton, Ohio. I have been living there for just about a year with my new boyfriend, and we're trying to just make house. Hey, moved out of Los Angeles to go be with him and try and make it work in Dayton, Ohio. And while I am there, I am struggling to maintain my momentum as a stand-up comic, which is what I was doing when I was living in the 2000 through 2004 era of Los Angeles. I would say actually safely 2001-ish, 2002 to 2004. I had started and was a hot rookie on the LGBTQIA comedy scene, but back then it was just the gay and lesbian comics. And a couple T's in there, maybe an I don't know, but listen, it was a different world 16 years ago, I guess. And so I left all that and a phone company job in Los Angeles to go be with Paul and to just try to start and maintain a budding relationship. Good idea, noble at heart. Oh yeah, my heart spoke to me over practicality. And I ended up moving to Dayton. I worked for Longhorn Steakhouse for a hot minute, which was hot garbage, other than the steaks and that prime rib. Mouth is salivating. Oh yeah. But then I left there for the wild, wild west of Best Buy. Oh, Best Buy. And I was doing pretty good at Best Buy. One, because it reminded me of working at Musicland. It was retail. It was things that I knew. I was working in different departments, getting an education in the electronic field of televisions and, HDMI cables and what it all meant, and getting a schooling of what the technology of the now was happening. It was a thing. Activating, Virgin mobile phones and still selling CDs for some reason. But hey, it was still there and we were doing it. So doing all right, doing okay at Best Buy, but I was not happy. I was not where I wanted to be. And I was still booking comedy because I was booking these traveling bear events that were around the country. So I was starting to do them in different cities and making my way through the circuit of gay bear party life, I guess, or at least I should say convention life. Get together and celebrate together for the weekend kind of gay bear celebration life. But, it was the circuit. There was all these different events around the country, and some were bigger and some were smaller, and I was essentially working my way through them. So here we are. I'm in Dayton, Ohio, and Paul easily recognizes that I am completely unhappy. I'm not unhappy with him. He's not the cause or the issue here. It's because I just left 4 years in Los Angeles. Sunshine, Hollywood, sushi on every corner, comedy career. Things are happening. What's that? Maybe some acting? I don't know. And here I am in Dayton, Ohio. This is going, why am I here? So we make a plan for him to eventually get out to Los Angeles. I would go back to set up shop, get my feet grounded again, keep chasing the comedy dream. But I had to work. I had to make some money, because if obviously the goal was for me to, establish a place of our own, have things at the ready. He could afford the move of his own. I mean, he could easily just, pay for his own moving truck and pay for his car and all these things and take care of business. But it was a work. We were trying to get him out to Los Angeles. He had visited. He fell in love just like I did. It was adventurous. There was movies, all the movies that he wanted to see, because he was a movie guy and he loved all the weird movies that he could never see in Dayton, Ohio. It was adventure. Sushi on every corner. Friends that you could hang out with and do things with, because I had an established group of friends already built out in Los Angeles. So how it's appealing to him and it's appealing to me. Sure, move your boyfriend out. Do the things that you want to do. Chase those dreams, those Hollywood dreams, but still make that money and stay practical like the Midwestern that you are built to be. Oh boy. Well, here we go. Move back out to California, move back out to Los Angeles. Easier drive this time, because I decided, instead of going the northern route and through the flat plains of Iowa, Nebraska, and then the crazy mountains of Colorado, Utah, all the way down through Nevada, through Las Vegas, and then into Los Angeles, I took the south route, took the all the way through Ohio to Missouri to Arkansas to Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, into LA. What a slog that was. Listen, I love scenic drives. I love long road trips. Oh man, but Texas, past Dallas and Houston, all that, like the western half of Texas is just flat and desert. It's nothing to look at. Oh man, that's a rough ride. And it was rough too, because I remember my car almost breaking down at the most southern point of the taking the road into the 101, I believe. No, the 10. Sorry, the 10. Yeah, I'm such a Californian. The 101, the 10, but at the end of the day, it was the quarter tip of the 10 before you headed west, and my car started to give me the engine light and had to conk out for a bit. I was freaking out because I also didn't have cell service and I was on a paper phone. Oh man, how did I survive? I could have been wandering the desert, lost for years. You wouldn't even know who I am right now. But there it was. So drove into LA. I had to establish a place to stay. Was lucky enough to have an open room and crash at a couple's house, a couple's apartment in West Hollywood. They're friends that I had met and got to know when I was dating Alan 5 years prior. And we had met them as a couple, knew these guys, and they lived in West Hollywood. So great, got a place to crash, at least. Establish some ground to find where I could go from there. It was not a permanent plan. There was no I want to live here forever. West Hollywood's the best. I was just trying to land my head. I didn't bring anything but my clothes with me and just what I needed, because I didn't feel like I was ready to move everything in. So I did establish that as well. So I took what I could to just survive on until we could get a place of our own. Great. And I had to do it because, Paul didn't know Los Angeles. Paul didn't know anything about California. Paul didn't know about good places to live, what it would cost. I was, again, I'm still coming from that poor boy mentality. So I'm absolutely trying to find a decent place at a decent rate and in a decent area that we could just hang our hat on. So great, we do that. I move in with these guys, and I'm living in West Hollywood. For those who don't know, West Hollywood is very LGBTQ stacked, neighborhood friendly, whatever you want to call it, the gay neighborhood, or as we like to call it, the gayborhood. West Hollywood is gay ground zero for gay. There, I've established where I'm at. So that's great. I get back into town, and of course I've got to find work. I can't just live at these guys' place and just crash their house and not have money. I was broke. I was making money at Best Buy in Dayton, Ohio. I wasn't loaded. I wasn't making hot cash. Still didn't have credit. Still didn't have a lot of credit because, again, I didn't have any credit really because I just went through bankruptcy a couple of years ago. They're like, no, you don't get credit for a while after that. Calm down with your credit. All right, so roll up my sleeves, got to get to work, got to find money, got to make it happen. Well, what do I got in my bag of tricks? I got all sorts of things. I'm not going to go back to serving. I'm not going to do that. Been through that ringer way too many times and I'm done. Well, I've done retail. I've done customer support. I've done those things. What can I do? Put the fishing pole. I know how to hustle. What am I doing? How am I doing it? Where am I doing it? Somehow, Kismet stepped in. I don't know. I don't know how this happened, but a Best Buy was opening, if not already just opened, minutes ago in West Hollywood. To give everybody, again, a perspective, West Hollywood has never had a Best Buy. It's not a huge mall, utopia that there's all this like huge reach. It's all indie, that area is very Russian Armenian as well. So it's not like there's like this big giant corporation overlords taking over that area. There's no Walmarts, there's no Targets, there's none of that. But in the meantime, after I'd moved, and I really didn't know that area that well, but in the year's time that I moved, they had built this thing called the Target Center, and it was this corner. It's still there. I mean, including the Best Buy, they built this big mall, utopia, that it was supposed to have a lot of restaurants, and there's a GameStop, and just a mini mall in West Hollywood, accessible to the West Hollywood end of things. I think it's Fairfax and I'm sorry, not Fairfax. It's Santa Monica and La Cienega. So it's Best Buy. Hey, that sounds familiar. I know what that. I just got out of a Best Buy. I know what that's all about. Great. I mean, I wasn't there that long. I was there like maybe 7 months, 8 months, maybe, if that. Christmas temp. Got into the customer support land, was a cashier, sold a whole lot of stuff to people, was a very friendly person. Great. So how could this go wrong? Well, pause that tape. I'll tell you near the end. Spoiler, but you're going to have to wait. Meanwhile, I had to reestablish myself in the comedy thing. I'm back in LA. Great. That's a great thing, right? Not everything it's cracked up to be. Here's something weird that happened in a year's time that I moved out of Los Angeles. Still on LiveJournal, still on MySpace, still trying to pound the comedy pavement, doing bear events, making things kind of try to happen. But in a year's time, somehow, some way, I'd lost footing with a lot of the friends I had. Now, not all of them. It's not a blame point. It's not they left me, they ditched me. But there was this weird shift. I don't know. There's no need to blame. There's not even a blame. It's just an observation. Something I noticed when I got back to LA. Not everybody was back. Not everybody was checked in. Not everybody was dialed in. They're all moved on. Some of them had moved on. Some of them stuck around, absolutely. Gained some new friends because I was living in a different area with different people and different connections, different friend sets. So, yeah, it was a little bit of a plate shift. California earthquake reference there for you, but it was fine. But it was weird because, again, some of the friends that I was really close to, or at least had really established after 4 years of living in LA, were just mild to medium at best. It was not a, hey, oh my God, I'm so glad you're back. Welcome back. Oh my gosh, let's pick right up where we left off. It's kind of weird, but carrying on. Also, had to kind of rebuild my momentum for comedy. Now, good thing is I still had friends in the comedy business that I was still in contact with. I had my really good comedy buddy, Faith Choice, was still in the mix. And some of the LGBTQ comics that I had worked with were still, of course, doing things. So there I am putting out the fishing line and, of course, still building up this comedy brand of being you can't see my face, but I'm rolling my eyes really hard, bear comic. And I was still kind of clenching my teeth about being labeled as. But yeah, so that was where we're at. We're kind of in the mix. We're back in. Here we are. And I'm trying to figure out the comedy thing. One thing to note as we progress and we get closer and closer to the ultimate path that my stand-up comedy career went is as a business person and as somebody who was paying attention to my own business, right? I'm not a business degree owner. I'm not somebody who, did all the I know how to run a business kind of, schooling and or experience, and my parents taught me, or none of that. This is all DIY, mind you. Again, I'm the only agent for me. I'm my only manager. I'm the only person running my own game. There is nobody talking for me. There's nobody calling people to try and book me. I am doing it all by myself. Yes, some friends are like, yeah, I got this show over here. I'd love to have it, or whatever. Yes, connections were helping in the ways of booking. But as far as pushing myself or trying to get out there, just me. And two things started to pop up on my radar just in natural, I guess, observation land. One, I already started to see the writing was going to be on the wall for me as far as being a gay bear comic, being a gay bear and booking bear events. And you say, well, why? Why would you see this end game for that? Why? Because I was in the community. I was watching the events. They didn't repeat people. They didn't have the same people back every year unless they're like local flavor. I remember at Dallas's Texas Bear Roundup, there was a local drag queen that showed up and performed and was part of the show, or at least helped out, by the name of She Got a Mustache. Rest in peace, She Got a, miss you, darling. Right, she was local Dallas flavor, but she wasn't a national act. Nobody repeated. There was nobody coming back all the time to always perform and do things. They were trying to mix it up until, at least I saw myself. I got repeat business. But I also knew it was going to be limited. Why? Because the bears were not there for me. And my time and my, whatever I was establishing was, again, here today, gone tomorrow. There was always the next. There was always going to be someone else. And it just, how I saw the path forming. Because unless I became the actual crossover, straight people understand me and know what I am and take me in, and I become a thing bigger than myself or the bear community or any community. I'm actually a quote-unquote celebrity, nationally known in a minor household name, but again, that's tough to do. Social media wasn't a thing like it is today. So I saw already that I was going to be a limited resource, and eventually they would not be able to book me because they were looking for the next best thing. Fair. 1,000% fair, but I knew it was coming. I knew it. because I realized it once I started booking events that the next year, if I asked, they're like, no, we're going to do something else this year. There it is. So I knew I had, again, limited resource, limited time. I booked 2 of the majors, as I called them. If you listen to previous episodes, I booked Orlando's Bear Bust and Dallas's TBRU. The next 2 that were left on my list was the big one, San Francisco's International Bear Rendezvous. That was a humongous event. And then Chicago's Bear Pride, also a very long-standing event. The first event I went to where I saw a comedian and went, I can do better than that. I'll get on that stage and make these boys laugh. What is this? That is not comedy. I can do and produce better comedy. I just don't know how yet. There I am. So I knew. And again, I was one of maybe 2, maybe 3, if that, bear comics. And I wasn't even trying to be a bear comic. I was just lumped into it because I guess I was one and I looked like one. So I wasn't hot twink comic. I wasn't trans comic. I wasn't lesbian comic. I wasn't just average guy comic. I was this burly-ish dude being burly and kind of bearish. So they went, you bear comic, you make bear funny. Ha ha. And that's how it was. That's how it worked. So I somehow got involved in Nashville's scene. It was just, again, bears seeing bears and bears going, hey, I know that bear and I know a guy. And I got involved with these dudes who ran a thing called Bearapalooza. And it was the same kind of concept, except, it was like a big entertainment thing, but it was all musicians. Great idea. Absolutely, right? Showcase talent other than strip shows. Hey, here's some guys who can actually play music and write their own songs and are singer-songwriters. Get into it. That's what you did, right? Great. And they brought me in. Hey, let's do some hosting. We need some comedy. We need something to break up the music and be entertaining and keep the crowd alive. Well, that was great. Got involved with that. Working out of Nashville a couple times. That was nice. It was a different crowd. Met a very influential human being by the name of Sideshow Benny. 40-plus-year-old gentleman who quit his day job working at a desk, wearing business wear, doing things he did not want to do. And I believe it was either at 40 or 42. It was in his early 40s. He quit his day job, just left it cold to become a sideshow performer. Hence why his name is Sideshow Benny. And he ate light bulbs and had people throw darts in his back and walked barefoot on glass and, swung heavy objects from his nipple rings. I mean, it was Jim Rose Circus, Sideshow Circus, sideshow circus performer. You know what it is, right? Watch this person put needles through their tongue and all sorts of crazy things. I was fascinated, riveted. I'm like, wait, first of all, you quit your job? I was in my 30s, so this guy's in his 40s. Like, you just said goodbye to your job and left it to do this? Pray tell, how do you survive? How do you live? Man, I'm so stuck on this. Got to have the 9 to 5, got to have the day job, got to have insurance benefits and all these safety nets. How are we doing this, Sideshow Benny? Sat in a hotel room with him for a couple hours, just chewing his ear off, talking about like how we just mentally got through that. So very influential in the future tense of like, what am I going to take that information from? Who's going to influence me in the future? Well, it might be Sideshow Benny. Pay attention. More podcasts to come. So I'm, back in Los Angeles, getting my feet back wet with the LGBTQ comedy scene. And I'm getting more comedy stuff rolling. Things are kind of moving. Still got my website going. That was great, except for one day, pre-YouTube, by the way. Just want to make sure we're on the same page there. This is the year 2005 through 2006. Going into 2007. Still have MySpace, still have LiveJournal, That's coming to a close soon-ish. Coming down the pipe. Live Journal is going to go away. MySpace isn't going to be what it is. And no, it's all technology's moving. Oh, we're establishing a cell phone with an actual carrier instead of Virgin Mobile, and you got to pay for minutes. We're getting rid of that. That's good. Okay, new phone. Who dis? And so I have to get a job. Great. Get hired by hook or by crook. I beg, plead, and borrow to get in at this Best Buy that just opened. I know, tough sell, because they probably hired a lot of beginner staff, but I feel like I was like part of the second wave because the first wave left or didn't make it or whatever the case may be. But I was a commodity. Called them up, told them I worked in Dayton, Ohio, gave them the store number. They probably made some conversation happen. They said, yeah, we'll bring you in. Sounds great. Okay, so this is where my retail dreams start to die immediately. And this is where the crack starts to really show. Because what I once believed to be true in being faithful to a company and showing up with earnest to do a good job, to provide what the company wants, to show some level of interest and or drive, motivation that is self-motivation. Reason to go into work to actually make something happen and be a good employee. This is when it cracked. And this is the first big one. There are more to come. Oh, put on your bib, put on your gloves, get ready for, here comes the splash zone. Because there is going to be a flood over the next 15 years of corporate America, big and small, continually proving to me how awful they can be to employees, no matter how good, how strong, how willing they're wanting to bend for you as a company to show you that they're in it to win it. And this Best Buy company, Best Buy, destroyed that. Now, I am not going to point fingers wholly at a company. My attitude and my perception also folded into that batter. But at the end of the day, when I tell you how this all started to unfold, I trust that you will understand that this is how I have started to pick apart and understand when the time is not good for me to be at a company. And this was the eyes wide open moment of why this happened. I get hired. Great. We're a brand new store in the smack dab in West Hollywood. Nothing to compete with. Nothing. Zilch. There is not a record store, CD store within miles. At the same time, Tower Records, Virgin Records, all these retail establishments for records start to slowly crumble little bits. They're not dead yet, but you see they're losing life. They're losing their life day by day, year by year. It's not the same as it used to be, but they're still around. You smell there's blood in the water. So I get hired in on the media department. Right where I left off, right where my home sweet home is. I know video games, I know movies, I know music. I'm up on the hottest releases. I know where to find things. I know it all. Hey, I'm hot. I know this is where I am and this is where I need to be, baby. I mean, yes. Bring an expert into the media department. Being managed by an actor. Wannabe actor, that is. Had Superman type looks. Oh yeah. Had that Dean Cain, Superman of the now. He had the look. So he was Early on, I immediately knew this guy was not here to help Best Buy. He was there to be pretty, flirt with girls, and be an actor type working for Best Buy as the media department manager. That's strike number one. Strike number two. No matter how hard I tried, no matter how long I spent trying to give the music and CDs and the video games and the DVDs some sort of organization, cleanliness, proper pricing and price tags, making sure the stock that people are looking for is out on the shelves, new releases, sale items, things that are being shipped to us for end caps, the important product that has to move. Sounds like, again, noble cause, right? I mean, you're working for a company. Why would you not want all those things? Why would that be a problem? Why would anybody or anything be in the way of making sure your retail establishment selling products looks good, looks clean, looks organized, looks well stocked, and people can find things? What? Now you're talking crazy, Halston Body. What kind of retail establishment, what utopia are you speaking of that would have that? That's, oh my God, I've never heard of such things. Organization, alphabetization of your product, things that are selling like crazy, being available and in stock and easily locatable for when customers walk in, and because whether they're lazy or just can't find it, they have to ask you, hey, do you have that new Shakira CD? Hey, do you have that new video game? Where's that ESPN 2K16? Where are these things? And yours truly was on a constant and daily basis looking things up in the computer because they were not logically where they should be, yet our inventory was telling us we had plenty of them. Oh, I was not looking up things that we had one of. Oh, we sold that out. We might have one, or if I saw the number 1 or 2 on the stock list, I was like, we're probably sold out. They just haven't caught up the inventory. But when I look up inventory for something that I know is a new release or something that we should be in stock of that I know we have not sold out of, and the computer says we have 55 of them, why are they not out? Why are they not where they should be? And I was always doing the cliche retail thing that sets up the stereotype for awful retail. Oh, I don't see it on the shelf. We must be out. Do you have it in the back? 99% of the time, that is not true. But yet, Best Buy West Hollywood in 2006, it sure as hell was. Every minute of the day, do you have this? Let me look. I want to see if we have stock. It says we have 42 of them. Not on the corner end cap where the sale is. Not where they are supposed to be on the video game section. Not on any other shelf. I don't see them under here. I don't see them over there. I don't see them tucked away out where they should be. Let me go in the back. Then when I went into the back, it was a pile. It was a nightmare scenario because there was no back stock that was, if you thought the front was unorganized, wait till you went to the back. Holy smokes. Piles upon piles upon piles of boxes that hadn't been opened, hadn't been labeled, hadn't been put in any sort of organization for any, and it's video games and DVDs and CDs all in piles. What in God's name are we doing here, kids? Why are we losing sales? Why are we not able to sell the things that we say we should have and we are selling and people are hungry for and they're walking out disappointed or upset or they're not sure why we don't have it even though it says we do? Imagine that daily, full time, all day, all night. Hey, do you have this thing? Let me check. Not here. Not there. We should have it. Let me look at a computer. Oh, look, we have 34 of them. Oh, weird. We don't have, let me look. Let me go. I'll go in the back for 5 minutes. And you really can't just be hanging out in the back. You just can't be just standing in the back for 20 minutes trying to dig through things. Customers are waiting. People are waiting. You might be the only one on the floor for a minute because somebody else decides to go to the restroom or is on break. Ah, what a nightmare this was. Here's what made it worse. There's 2 more things that make it worse. It's not just one. There's more. Other departments were not doing their job either, especially the TV and video area. The way this store was set up was the media department and the video games and everything that was CDs and albums, everything that was media was smack dab in the middle of the store. And then it starred out in directions pointing towards departments. So of course, when people walk right in the middle of the store, right in the front door, right to the media department, they always ask us about things in other departments we have no idea about. And what makes it worse is that when we're walking people over to that department can't be found. What am I supposed to do? Hey, person, customer, I'll get you right over there and get you somebody to help you. Let me get over to the TV department. Hello? TVs? Anybody? Where's my video people? And then you had to get on a phone. Hey, video department, we have a customer waiting for... Like, would people... This manager, let me tell you, this manager had no intention of fixing the problem. Zero intention of fixing the problem. He almost said it outright when I brought it up. He was just like, well, we got to do what we got to do, and we just have to deal with it. What? That's how we're treating this? We have fresh, hot product that is trying to be sold, and it's just sitting in cardboard boxes in the back that we haven't looked through because we just don't have the staff or the time or the wherewithal? Like, what? There was no logic to this. Want to see me go from 0 to absolutely frustrated and angry at the situation on a constant and daily basis? That is exactly the quick way to do it. Lack of organization, lack of drive or desire, mixed with lack of just doing the damn job. I was fighting the fight alone. And what made it... Oh, this was the frosting and the cherry and the sprinkles on the cupcake. Woo! Every morning when we got in, there was a store meeting. Let's get everybody together in the big circle. A lot of men. The actual general manager was a former boxer, Hispanic guy. He was great. He was a nice enough guy. He hired me. He had his lackeys, he had his, plus ones and his henchmen and all that. Great. Here's what made me angry. Every morning, we get in a circle and pound our chests and clap it up and whoop, whoop, yeah, whoop, whoop, whoop. Why are we whoop, whoop, whooping? What are we doing here? What are we getting all excited about? Yeah, woo, 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 woo. We're number one. We're number one in the district, baby. We're number one. Yeah, Southern California district, number one. We're number one. Why? Because we got number one in sales yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and What? Yeah, that sounds like a no. Wow, congratulations. Well done, Best Buy. You did it. Best Buy West Hollywood, you're so amazing. You know why you're number one, idiots? It's because you just opened 2 minutes ago in an area that hasn't seen a Best Buy ever in their existence. So everyone and their mother is going to shop that Best Buy. Are you kidding me? Do you not see that perspective? You're not number one because you're blowing it away with customer interactions and sales and going over the top to, wow, we really have the most organized and well-established, video game section, and we're just... PlayStations and Xboxes are flying off the shelves because of our great customer support, and all the hot new releases are being sold and they're right up front. Everything is great. No, it's because wow, Best Buy. I need to go to that new Best Buy and see the new Best Buy. I'm in the new Best Buy. I can't leave this new Best Buy without buying something because it's a Best Buy. Or finally, a Best Buy. Now I can just get over to that Best Buy and buy things in this neighborhood that I've never seen one in. That is why you were number one. I guarantee you right now. If I walked in, P.S. by the way, that Best Buy still stands. That Best Buy is still in existence. How? I don't know. It just is. Not to say that Best Buy needs to go down in a flaming wreck or burn. We're not here to waiting to exhale, throw a match behind me and burn the car with all the possessions in it. That's not what we're talking about here, kids. It's an establishment. Best Buy has been around forever. I'm not here to, well, I'm going to take them down with their awful policies and their terrible support and the way they handled things. Let me tell you, when you are an employee and you are coming in with earnest and desire to accomplish even half what the company is expecting from you, what they want from you is sales and knowing how to do your job, flexibility, all those great things. Well, sorry, Best Buy West Hollywood, you failed on all the checkboxes. You, day by day, made it worse for your employees who are there to do the job right. The manager of the media department, you were a failure to lead and show anyone else this is how it's done. You let the inmates run the asylum, and half of us didn't care, and some of us were just so angry because we cared too much, and we cared enough to try to make that store look good. And every minute of the day was a constant battle to try to keep that up. And I lost. I just lost it. I couldn't keep up. I had to quit. I had to leave that place for my own sanity, for the sole purposes of realizing that this was not where I needed to be. I was there to try and help and make things awesome, and they were not interested. They said so in so many ways. I had meetings with the assistant managers to plead to them of my case of why I was there to help. And it was just fingers in the ears, la, 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 la. That's all. Literally, I could not believe it. Crack in the sky for me. I was like, what am I doing here? Comedy was keeping me happy. Living in West Hollywood and still being a bear comic, keeping me happy, keeping me motivated. Working for that dump known as Best Buy West Hollywood, bad. It was just bad. So I quit on my last day when I turned in my blue uniform, which I had to turn in that. I think I had to turn in my blue shirts. Oh boy, I'm so mad about that. I wish I could have kept those for what? I don't know. My embroidered shirts. What are you going to do with those? Who cares? Turn those in, and as I turned them in to quit same day, we weren't playing around, by the way. I gave them a 1 day notice because I was not having it anymore. I was not going to be consistently badgered on doing my job when I was doing the best I could with what I had, and having these male egos in retail of all things beat their chests like gorillas every morning, hooing, like getting all hoo-ha about like, we're number one, when you were absolutely number one, as in a middle finger. And I wore a shirt that I had made saying, you're number one, with a middle finger. Petty boots. Oh, I did. It was a blue t-shirt that I had made, and it said, you're number one, with a big exclamation mark. And there was like a street sign symbol of a middle finger. That boss, that manager, he picked up on it. He was like, oh, is that the reason why you wore that shirt today? I'm like, perhaps. Petty boots, Captain Petty Boots. Sorry, I was not Best Buy. You did your time, but man, that was a sinking ship, and I'm glad I got off of it. I mean, yes, it's still around. Yes, it's reinvented itself. Yes, it's still a thing. No one's here to take down Best Buy and show the world and expose them. No, this is 15 years ago, kids. Different world, different time, different people. I'm glad I escaped. I didn't think I would ever have to go back to that retail. That was like, oh, we're done with this. I can't do this in-person stock game anymore. This is just not what I'm supposed to be doing. Or is it? Ha! To be determined. More podcasts and jobs to come. But yeah, rest in peace, my job at Best Buy. Dayton, 100 times better than it was working for Best Buy West Hollywood. So what's a struggling bear comic, to do? Leaving a job that made me very unhappy, but I still had to stay afloat, still had to keep my head above water, still had to keep grinding to get, my then boyfriend Paul out from Ohio so we could set up camp in Los Angeles and keep building this relationship and continuing to play house and do what we're trying again. Relationships, jobs, stability. Let's try to make it happen, right? The dream, so to speak. So what's my next job? Where do I have to leap to next? Tune in on Friday and you will find out where did I end up to save my butt and to start anew with another direction in the ways of customer support, in the ways of customer service. All sorts of different new skills coming down the pipe. Just you wait. But then we are going to continue to talk about the comedy on the next episode. We are definitely going to talk about where my comedy career is, where it's headed, and what is going to eventually become a day job that is going to pave the way for me to do something big. Find out soon. Keep listening. 10 listeners. I know you're going to be with me all the way to the end. But if you are just merging in, man, I bet get back on 22 episodes. I know they're an hour long plus. Some of them are shorter. You're talking almost an entire day's worth of binging, but it's worth it, darlings. I wouldn't do this for anyone else but you. Please subscribe, please like, please comment, please share, please tell people. Listen, we've got a long way to go. I keep saying that we're halfway, but realistically, there's going to be some extras. There's going to be so many weird things going on that I'm telling you what, the journey is just beginning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for listening. Once again, this is New Job Who Dis. As I've said before, and I will always say, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your sister, tell your brother. Tell everyone. This has been New Job Who Dis.